I was born in St. John's, Newfoundland, on the cliffs of the North Atlantic Sea. I like to say that where I was born was indicative of how my childhood would be. Very violent, very turbulent, very cold. Like so many women in prison, I was born into an abusive home. My father was in the military. When he drank, he got very violent, and he drank a lot. And when he wasn't drunk, he was very cold. In the midst of the violence of my childhood, my mom would take us to church. She was a Christian. And she could get away with it because Sunday mornings my dad liked the house quiet, so she could sneak all of us kids out to church. And at church, I learned about Jesus. And I believed in him. But when I left that church, Jesus didn't come home with me. Because of the abuse in my childhood home, I believed lies about myself. I believed I was unloved, I believed I was alone, and I believed I had no value. And so I took off in life making choices based on those lies. We were in the military. Because of that, we were stationed in different places around the world. As a young teen, we were actually stationed in Turkey. And it was there that I began to discover my own courage. And I started to think, I could probably take care of myself. So when we got transferred back to the States, back to our home in Texas, one night my dad came in with his gun like he'd done so many times, threatening to kill all of us kids. I decided I'd had it. And so I went out the bedroom window to look for that life, for that fairy tale. But as we all know, life on the streets for a young girl is no fairy tale. Instead, I found myself cold, dirty, hungry, begging for spare change. One night I ran into an alley, dirty, cold, bitten by mosquitoes, and fell into the deep grass. Behind me, I saw a window in a house with the light, and there was a family, and they're eating, laughing. And I thought to myself, why can't I have that? So I continued on my journey to find this life for myself. In and out of jails, I would get arrested, in and out of juvie detention, continuing to make these horrible, destructive choices until finally I made a decision. I had to do this differently. This wasn't working. So I turned myself in and I went home. 15 years old to find out I was pregnant. At birth, my son was placed into adoption. All records sealed, never to be seen again. And so at 16, my parents left Texas and I decided I'd stay. I was gonna be my own adult and I was gonna take care of myself. And so I dropped out of school, got a job, and started living my life my way. I continued to make destructive choices. My life spiraled down further and further and further. Drugs to cover the pain, alcohol to cover the pain, to where finally I found myself at the bottom of my pit. I realized one night that I was hopeless. I had no education, I dropped out of school. I was strung out on drugs. Anybody who'd ever known me or wondered about me probably figured I was dead or in prison by now. And then it was like a little light struck me, and I remembered Jesus. I remembered that I'd always believed in him, and now was the time maybe to ask him for help. So I went out under the stars in the Black Hills of South Dakota, and I cried out to Jesus. I said, Jesus, please save me. I can't do it anymore. I just keep making it worse. Save me. I need you. And I didn't know for sure what that meant, but I knew that he could do it. And without anything changing, no circumstances changed in my life, I suddenly felt joyful. I felt lighter. I had no idea what was going to happen, but I just knew something was going to happen. Jesus was going to save me. 4 days later, a warrant came out for my arrest. I was going to prison.